think that I just come in there and look for knockouts, and that's not the case. You know, I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, I'm here. Who wanted to fight with me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter can beat me.
My goal is to demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all the belts, all of the titles.
Welcome to Bodywork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. It feels so good to be back. Man, it felt like a long time, even though I've been right here. Oh yeah, I've been right here. I've been watching. I've been listening. I've been observing. I've been taking notes. And I truly feel like, man, I was telling my man Jose Rodriguez, man, we was chatting in a couple of the posts I put, man, just talking about, some of the recent things in boxing or whatever. And it's like boxing is I know this is sounding like it's being overused, much like the term gaslighting, which I'm gonna touch on for a second, and then I'm gonna go right into the whole spiel. But it's being overused. But when I tell you this, boxing is becoming very weird, right? Boxing is becoming very weird. It's like, it's almost like anybody with any kind of voice and any kind of platform can just say anything. And if it's in line, just like when the high school player, the star, the football team, the quarterback that's like probably going to be the prom king, and the cheerleader going to be the prom queen. It's like whatever they say, people just ride with it, even off in their own little conversations, just to be associated with the main personnel or people that's actually saying it. And people are now, under the guise of being like casuals, they're allowed to say anything. I already said that it's okay to be casual. Like, even though I have an eagle from the Philadelphia Eagles tattooed on my arm for over a decade, even though I have that, I would consider myself a casual in football now. It's not like I don't keep my eyes on it. It's just I don't care to. The Eagles are my team, so I'm always going to be abreast of what they got going on and what, what's happening or whatever. But I'm not there all day, every day. I'm not checking for it. I said earlier this year, I went live during the Super Bowl, more so to make a statement saying that I'm committed to the sport of boxing. The more and more I saw all of the flaws in football and how, certain aspects of it, especially in those championship games and in the playoff, how some of those games can be perceivably tweaked, I fell out of love with it. It's like I'm always going to love it because I played it. I was good at it. In some aspects, great at it. But somewhere my heart turned on it, and I said, I'm disappointed. And I kind of got back on my boxing stuff. So when I talk about boxing, it's like I talk about it as a boxing purist, not a casual. Like, I'm checking for boxing all the time. I'm reading articles about boxing all the time. I'm learning about new boxers all the time. I'm looking at amateurs. As these young guys, I have been following them for a minute now. I've been following them for a while. The Grandy twins, they're just now coming like to where more and more people are starting to know them. They're getting bigger. I was watching them you know, in social media and just saying, listen, man, I hope they don't get done like the Charlo twins, man. I was trying to put the little seeds out there to say, listen, man, look at these examples of the twins and how people tore them apart, ripped them to shreds, like just anything they could say to draw a wedge. And if one was in trouble, the other one was, even though they was doing two totally different things. They were their own two totally different men and two totally different boxers living their own two totally different lives. They just happen to be twins. But I've been watching a lot of different aspects of the game. I look at what the casuals are saying. I look at what the people with the loudest voices or microphones and the biggest couches are saying when it comes down to boxing. And it's like, man, what do y'all, I'm not sure where people really want boxing to go. I'm really not sure where they want boxing to go. All I know, I've been saying this, I've been putting out the alarm. I've been sounding the alarm for a while now, man. Even before I had Bodywork, when I was just Michael Rogers, I still have those videos up so you can see the projection. You can see the mistakes. You can see the growth in the content to where I've gotten to now. From the graphics to the visuals to sometimes the audio was off. Sometimes my thumbnails were looking all funny, like how the conversation was, how, you know, the brand was actually branded to this point. And even back then, I never changed. I only started a channel because I was following two main channels. I was following two main channels, rocking out with two main channels mostly. That's why I was going to have my water cooler talk and talk to people and all this. But I kept seeing these patterns. And I can't help it. I'm a person. I see patterns. I'm a solution-oriented person. I see problems. I see patterns. But I also, when I see a problem, my mind automatically converts over to trying to make a solution. So I was seeing these patterns amongst these channels. I'm like, hold on, man. That's not right, man. Hold on, man. Like, hold on. No. That's not right. Hold on. Just yesterday you said, hold on. Like, you always saying somebody glazing, but as you just, I guess you're one of them do as I say, not as I do. I'm not one of them kind of people. I've never been, man. And I've never been a follower, man. I've never been a follower. Never. But what I'm getting at is, man, boxing is getting weird. The birth of my channel was only because I was just like, hold on, man, somebody got to come out here and speak to this stuff and put it in a light, a reasonable light, be the voice of reason. Sometimes be an advocate for these boxers who they're not the popular guys to be going for and rooting for. Like, you know, everybody's not like, remember when the Patriots was doing their thing, everybody was Patriots. And then I remember when Seattle, because if you've been following football, when the Seattle Seahawks blew up and they started saying the 12th man and they had the Legion of Boom, all of these Seahawks fans came out of nowhere. And I was calling them. I was like, hold on, man. I was checking people's temperature. How long you been a Seahawks fan? Like, come on, we all been watching. From when they changed the colors, when they had that dog gray uniform and the logo wasn't as spicy, to where they went to the neon green and they, you know what I'm saying? They had an image, they had a sound, they had a coach, they had everything. They got Russell Wilson. All these people bandwagon. I'm not a bandwagoner. And that's what we're doing in boxing. It's like the next big craze, the next big thing. Oh man, if I could get some clout or if I can attach myself to them, I'm telling you, listen, 50 Cent came out and I was going to put this post up. You know what I'm saying? I do look at 50 and I think that, man, the dude is brilliant. He's a genius. But this man came out a while ago. He put up a post and he said something to the extent of saying, I'm going to paraphrase. I'm going to put it in my way of thinking. It's been I think it was about 2-3 weeks ago when I saw it and I was like, dang, that resonated. He said, I'm not going to lie. When I guess he was asking who they got for the Super Bowl or who, whatever. He said, listen, man, I'll let you know after the Super Bowl, man, because I'm sticking with the winners. Some people are like that. I'm not one of those people. But I see it's a lot of people, man. If you can assimilate or if you can try to get beside or rub elbow with somebody who you think is winning, you think that you can automatically identify with that and it's going to resonate you. Like, yeah, we all like winners. We all like the success stories, right? But there are some people that's only pushing certain things because certain people are winning. That's not going to do anything for the sport. We've seen these fly-by-night promotional companies. We've seen these fly-by-night champions. Hell, when you look at the belts, when you look down there at 35, when them belts were just popping, like, you know what I'm saying, they would pop, pop, pop. When you look at 40, them belts was pop, pop, just popping over, just changing hands. Well, they change hands again. And the same reaction we got when Liam Paro relieved the boogeyman Sabril Matias in Puerto Rico of his strap, that man got celebrated. I said, where all these Liam Paro fans come from? What those people really were people who did not necessarily want to be a Sabril Matias fan. Why? Because one, I mean, he wasn't, his style is not flashy, it's brutal. And then a lot of their favorite fighters was on the opposite end or making funny moves to not fight the man. And Liam Paro was the one who actually stepped up to the plate. And not only did he step up to the plate, but he had a better night than Sabril on that night. And people have been, I'm not going to say they bandwagon Liam Paro. I think they gave him his credit. They gave him his salutes. They acknowledged that, dang, you did something nobody else. It's just like Puelo. Puelo did what he did to Gary Antoine Russell. One of my other guys, the two boogeymen fought on the same night, and that was the same night that Frank and Tank got it on. And I had a 3 parlay, and both of the boogeymans lost. I said, never in a million years would you think 2 boogeymen would lose. And Tank came through on that money, but my other 2, my boogeymen lost, so I didn't get the bread, but I was right there. But who would have saw them? So they gave Paro his credit. They still haven't given Puelo his credit. And I'm going to get into this as I go down, but I want to let y'all know that the boxing conversation is just getting weird. And sometimes I give myself permission to step back, look at it, observe, put my feelers out, and really get a pulse of like what I'm involved in right now. Like, what am I locking horns with in the sport, man? And it's ugly because I want the sport to keep going. It's a lot of people with a lot more popularity, a lot more shine, a lot more clout, a lot more pull, whatever you want to call it, out here. That's just tearing. They're changing the minds of fans. Fans are becoming anesthetized. And the thing is, when you become anesthetized, it's just like you have something wrong with you. As long as you go to the doctor and they say, I can fix you. Well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have a procedure. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And most people's question, the very first question they ask is like, am I going to be up or am I going to be asleep? The minute they say, oh, yeah, you're going to be asleep. Okay, well, I feel anything. Once they tell you, you ain't going to feel shit, you all for it. You all for it. Not knowing that when you're anesthetized, when you're under anesthesia, you are totally under the control of whatever the doctor is doing. You're down under. You don't know if he left a scalpel in there. You don't know if he did whatever who's going to be there to correct him? You got other eyeballs and all that, but who's going to tell the main doctor, hey, man, you shouldn't have cut like that. Oh, hold on. No. You just going to wake up hoping with your faith that when I get up from this, whatever was wrong, they fixed. But they'll give you that full disclosure saying, listen, man, it's a 25% chance that this can happen, that can happen. We do have fatalities. They got to give you that disclaimer. I'm giving you that disclaimer right now, man. The people that y'all are listening to, the people that y'all are tooting y'all ears up with y'all itching ears to listen to, man, they have you under anesthesia and they're putting some shit in there. And because you don't realize that you just under surgery, you're waking up with these thoughts and these concepts that don't align with the success of boxing for the long haul. They don't. So The only thing I really want to go over, man, before I really get into this Richardson Hitchins things and some of the things that I've been seeing, man, is gaslighting in the form of invalidation. Because I feel like the man won a strap, and people are they are openly invalidating this man and his status. And I call it the dark side of boxing because if you can see where that arrow is pointing, it's the elephant in the room. I'm gonna put it like this: a lot of people was hating the little light-skinned dude from Baltimore. I mean, some of it was because of the light-skin aspect, but some of it is because of the fact that he's from out here in Baltimore. But I was thinking, okay, well, these goalposts, man, hold on, let's look at these goalposts. Those goalposts shifted. Those goalposts shifted. Because when they see Africa, all they see, y'all know what they see. Y'all know what they see. It was starting to get real ugly in the build-up, and I was like, hold on, man. People are not even analyzing. Like, people act like they've never even seen this man box. I was saying that him and Devin Haney are two sides of the same coin. Only Richardson Hitchins has more power. He's more accurate with his punches, and he's not as clumsy. He has better defense. That is a fact. That's a fact. I've been watching the guy. I've been pulling for him. I've been rooting for him. I was like, man, not many people get off of TMT and actually have any kind of level of success. If you make it off, or if you over there and you have any kind of success, let's just say you're an anomaly. Don't trust me. Go back and do your homework. Go look at the numbers. How many people were signed and had lucrative deals? You might have got a little popping, but how many people were out there saying, oh man, I had to get off, I had to leave? Listen to this dude, Jahan Ingram, and I don't, I'm not even a fan, but, I know who he is, and I heard, what was going on. I'm not a fan. But look at all these guys. Before I get into Richardson Hitchins, man, let me just read this to you, man, and then we'll go from there. Gaslighting in the form of invalidation refers to a manipulative tactic where someone deliberately dismisses or denies another person's thoughts, feelings, and experiences, essentially making them question their own reality and sanity, which is a key characteristic of gaslighting. People act like the man didn't become a champion. Let me just read these couple of things. Key points about gaslighting through invalidation. Denial of emotions. The abuser might say things like, you're overreacting. You overreacting, Mike. Oh, body, man. You always... That's not a big deal. Or you're being too sensitive, to minimize the victim's genuine feelings. That's the first thing they say. You call into one of these big ass channels and you be spitting that real, oh man, look at this guy. Look at this guy. I guess you a Hitchins maniac now. It's like, no, 140 is my division. 147 was, 154 is also. It's just Jamel, he wasn't there. So I've still been keeping abreast, but when Jamel was there, Earl was there, 47, those was my divisions too. Had to stay abreast to be aware. 35 always was, that's what Tank is. But 40 is the division I've been putting the most energy into because I said, on any given night, I've noticed, on any given night, that's more than likely, that's what people be right on the cusp of fighting right where they supposed to be. A lot of times, a lot of them guys at 40 are fighting where they're supposed to be. Some of them get there late. Some of them get there late. Some of them that stay there a little bit too long and should be going to 47, but they were scared. You know what I'm saying? There was some big fish. It was, you know what I'm saying, a big fish hunter up there. It was a lot of, you know what I'm saying, things going on at 47. So people stayed down at 40 for too long. There's some people that's dead right now. Some people just now got to 40 who should have been to 40. That's been my division. Questioning reality. They may contradict the victim's memory of events. They may contradict the victim's memory of events, claiming things didn't happen the way they remember, or twisting the narrative to make the victim seem unreliable. You know how many people be trying to make me seem unreliable? You know how they say memory of an elephant? I have the memory of a mammoth. A mammoth. So when people be saying stuff and doing stuff automatically, I'll be like, oh, it's not quite right. Well, I'm not gonna be confrontational, but that's not quite right. You know what I'm saying? According to what actually happened. Not just the opinionated things, the actual time and events and what was going on at the time. When they do that, it's a big red glaring flag. And at a point in time, I was getting paid to recognize patterns to fix people's equipment. It's like something you can't undo. It's like if you watch Sherlock Holmes or if you watch House or something like that, the way they were and how meticulous they were, the details and this, and it's like you can't just they can't undo that thing that they have. You can't. That's how I am when it comes to dates, times, events, stuff that actually happened. That's how I am. Blaming the victim. Instead of taking responsibility for their actions, the abuser might blame the victim for their own emotions, saying things like, you're making a big deal out of nothing, you're just too sensitive. Impact on self-esteem. This constant invalidation can severely damage the victim's self-confidence, making them doubt their own perceptions and judgments. If I would have listened to everybody on their predictions, I'd have been like, oh man, I don't know. I knew Richardson and what he was capable of. I already knew. I called it out. And then, you know how many views that thing got? It got 85 views. 85. You can't say I ain't call it right down the mirror. I had my clone out here saying the same thing 3 days later. You know, all these people coming out now, and then in hindsight, people were saying whatever. I didn't even think to look at nobody else, really. I just was looking at the reaction of all this. But some examples before I really come out, man, and talk to y'all. Partner saying you're imagining things when their partner expresses concerns about their behavior. That's an example. The boss saying you must have misunderstood. Like, you know how people, nah, man, you hurt me, you know, I didn't. When an employee raises a valid concern about a work issue, a family member saying you're just being dramatic. When someone shares a difficult experience. Let he who has ears to hear, man. I made a niche out of saying things that are not the most popular, but are right and exact. I've gotten comfortable being uncomfortable. That's why there's very few people who can make me uncomfortable. And if you make me uncomfortable and I feel threatened, then that's a different situation. But it's rare that I get uncomfortable because I found comfort in it. So going for the not just rooting for the underdog, but putting value in speaking truth to power, like calling people out. Like, I'm gonna start giving y'all some examples. Keyshawn Davis came out and was just like, fuck Richardson Hitchins. I was like, also now it's fuck Richardson Hitchins. Don't you look to become a champion? This last time I checked, Richardson Hitchins took the stairs. You got fast track. You stay calling out all these other men names. I have not heard this man get disrespectful about Baranchek, about Loma, about anybody over there on his label. But it's all this disrespect for Tank. Now it's fuck Richardson Hitchins. I'm like, don't you look to become a champion, young black man? Weren't you set on a fast track coming out of the Olympics where they actually, you went pro, went back into the Olympics, came back out, they fast tracked you. I'm trying to figure out whose O you took. On a young label like TMT, do y'all know they put Malik Hawkins up against Sabril Matias, and then he had to fight Richardson Hitchins. Malik Hawkins, who was nice, by the way. I often say, man, I don't know what his life was like. I know I bumped into him at the gas station one time when we was doing COVID. We had masks on. I seen him. We was over there on North Avenue. I used to live right up there on Druid, right up on the hill. And I came down to go get some blacks, ran into him. And whenever I see somebody that's famous or whatever, I don't really say nothing. I done bumped into a lot of them because I don't want to blow up nobody's spot. But I seen him, and in my mind, all I could say was, what in the world is he doing out here? Why is he out here? This guy is talented. But I can imagine if he had the resources, I don't know what the circumstances is. I don't know anybody on the inside or whatever. I just thought that, man, if this man had the kind of resources like how Pro Box got that thing where they got a facility where you can live there, you got all your amenities and training, that dude would be he would rise back up through the ranks. I don't know what his life is like. But when I look over there at TMT and how it was put, I don't ever recall Keyshawn Davis being put in that kind of situation. Where you have a Malik Hawkins against a Sabril Matias that early in their career. Then you have a Malik Hawkins against a Richardson Hitchins that early in their career. In today's day and time where Keyshawn and Shakur could be in the same goddamn division and they can say, oh, we're gonna be Batman and Robin. We're gonna be BFFs forever. And that's okay. Where Shakur and Andy Cruz could be on the same level. That's okay. They could be friends and cool. They put these, and Eddie can say, oh, I know I got a Connor Ben and I got a Boots, but no, why would I risk them fighting early? Over there in TMT, they was pitting them up against each other. Richardson Hitchins been through it. He been through it. Malik Hawkins, his whole reputation probably got, because when he lost to Sabril, people still talking about, when he lost to Sabril and he had to fight Richardson Hitchins, it's like, man, who had that early in their career, who had to go through that? In this era, and I'm talking about in this modern era, where you can say, oh, that's my BFFs. No, we are never going to fight. He talked me down off the ledge when I was in high school. What? In the same division? Okay. So I'm going to say this again because I've said it plenty of times before. They're going to fuck up the 135 division, the 140 division, and the 147 division. Mark my words, especially if they keep continuing to pursue championships, because you can't be best friends and hold titles and also want to be undisputed. So look, as they grow and they go to 40 and 47, they're going to fuck those divisions up too with this friendship. But that's something that Richardson Hitchins went through on TMT. He got off of TMT. And everything, all signals indicate that it was no harm, no foul. He was just like, listen, the same thing young Jaleel Hackett went through. It was no harm, no foul. He's like, listen, I want to be more active. I want to do this. I want to do that. Part of that stunted his growth. But you know what? Richardson Hitchins, since I say him and Devin Haney are the same size of the same size of this two different sides of the same coin. Listen, what Richardson Hitchins didn't do was suck himself down to a skeleton to make 35, where he always got all the advantages. No, sir. He went up through the ranks. He took the stairs at 140. So everybody, all these people that want to shit on him, oh man, how could you compare him to Devin? Well, you're not even looking at Devin in the real light. I was over there on Pop Channel the other day, and I asked this one man, I said, you know what the similarities are between Devin, Shakur, and Boots? He was like, what's that? They always have all the advantages. We don't know what they are. When you always got the height, even though Coach Kenny say height don't fight, but you always happen to have it. You always got the reach. You always more active. In a lot of them cases, Devin didn't have power, but everybody he faced. That's why I was saying, man, when people, oh, he ran through the gauntlet. The gauntlet? What gauntlet? Pick up a dictionary, man, and tell me what a gauntlet is he ran through. Richardson Hitchins didn't get it like that. He didn't get it like that. He didn't shrink down. He went to 40 and fought people that had his same dimensions. Same classical boxing style, except for he is more accurate with his offense. He's more defensively sound. He has more power, and he's not as clumsy. If he would have went down to 35 would have took on a whole new landscape. And speaking of Devin Haney, this man want to shit on the young Jaleel Hackett, who's at 47, who I kind of think need to move up to 54 because of his gas tank. But I digress. He want to shit on Jaleel Hackett but Richardson Hitchins just won the belt. Where he do that at? So not only did you not want to go get your strap from Pueblo, not only was you trying to cherry pick or think because you got the same advantages, you saw how Regis did with Catterall, you couldn't wait. Y'all was calling Catterall the people's champ. How you all the way over here from the Bay calling somebody from overseas the people's champ after he beat your leftovers? Where they do that at? Boxing is getting weird. It's not getting, it is weird. Because if you have enough people, I told you, if you are in a room and you have enough, it's studies that say it. It's studies that say it. They say it's one I heard one. I was gonna get ready to say that if you had 700 people, out of 700 people, if 580 of them kept telling you the sky's blue, the other 120 gonna be like, well, okay, if you look, I mean, the sky's purple. They're gonna say whatever, they're gonna agree with whatever the masses are saying. But it was an example. I heard an example the other day where they showed an image and they said, and it was actually a square, but it was a round robin of like 100 people. And it started off, they all were looking at a square, but the first person said it was a triangle. The second person said it was a triangle. It went all the way around and everybody was saying it was a triangle. And when it got to the person that was like the whole time saying, nah, that's a square. When it got to them and they asked them what it was, they too said it was a triangle. That shit don't mean nothing. That's why I call it the 300. It's only, all I need is a few good men or women in this sport. And that's how I like it. It don't take, when everybody are locked and cocked, they know they shit, they ready for war, they ready to go on. Plus all them extra people, like some of them are liabilities. But just because you have a whole bunch of people regurgitating all this shit over and over again, that don't mean y'all are right. Y'all seen the movie 300. It didn't matter how big the other fleet was. Yeah, they took their losses. Yeah, it was casualties. But all they needed was 300. That's why this is the 300. We not buying that bullshit. We know the prices. For years I've been saying that guy Diddy wasn't this. For years I've been calling out Jay. He a Sagittarius just like me. So what? So what? I said it was always, I said that if you go back and you look at this man's career, it was always points in times where people in his regime were better than him. Because when Biggie was alive, he was better than him. When X was alive, he was better than him. When he was in his prime. Some people argue that Nas just had a bad beat selection. And he didn't make the business move that Jay made. That didn't mean that rapping he wasn't better than him. It was a point in time when Eminem was on fire, he was better than him. He just had the longevity. Look at him now. Look at him now. So all that number stuff and all this, man, y'all, people are in this boxing world because somebody you like say something or because they have this cloud and you don't want to offend. This is like if Tim Bradley come out here. You know what I mean? How long I've been whacking Tim Bradley balls and calling them out. It wasn't here till recently to where he showed a glimpse of some truthfulness. Because I think he see the light and getting up under that umbrella. But we know goddamn well that a lot of stuff he say don't be right and exact. But because you don't want to offend the Hall of Famer, you don't want to say nothing. This channel is silence is consent. That's what this. So if you ain't saying nothing, you agree. All it takes is for evil to prevail is for grown men to remain silent. And y'all know damn well this man Richardson Hitchins ain't getting his credit. He wasn't even getting the attention or admiration from people who lived up there with him. It was people from his area. It's just like here in Baltimore. It's people that call in the shows being straight from Baltimore just to side with and be in cahoots with popular people who are hating on Tank. It's like the same shit up there in New York. Why? Because it's been instilled in us that look like this man in any shade to pull him down, to not respect him, to devalue him, to not care about him. Why? Because it can't be based on skills. He boxed that man's head off. It would have been another judge that was like just a little bit of corrupt or got maybe a fatter envelope. They would have robbed the shit out this man for a wash. Liam Paro did his thing for the fourth, up until the fourth round. By the fourth round, his shit was already busted. He was already corralled. And for the next 8 rounds, he just busted him up. Boxed his head off. For all these boxing purists. Because when it come to take, it ain't always about the knockout. It ain't always about the knockout. This man boxed the shit out of Paro. He didn't get celebrated the way Paro got celebrated and how Sabril got shitted on. Why? Because I told y'all over here, we have an obsession, if you look like me or him, to pull each other down, to devalue, to degrade. And if you foreign, you get special treatment. You get special treatment. I wonder where that boxing kangaroo, because he was poking his chest out when Tim Tszyu was all, oh man, Tim Tszyu is going to blah, blah, blah. Where is he at now? Because another Australian bit the dust. And I like Paro. He won me over. I consider myself a fan because he got nuts. He got dog. If you ain't up on your game, he's going to outwill and he might not have the aspects or whatever. He's better than Kambosos. But if you don't know how to box and defang that man, he can outbox you. He will outwill you. He will outstrategize you. He will make an adjustment. Richardson Hitchins stayed calm and poised through the first 4 and then boxed the shit out this dude. And you would swear somebody died or had a funeral the way people were acting after he won that strap. I said, hold on. Ain't that everything? Didn't he just fulfill the American dream? Oh, that's the dark side of boxing. I was playing around with, I took my son out there. We was over there at the Under Armour house on Saturday, doing some football drills with a bunch of people, because he wanted some wide receiver specialty training with some coaches and all that. And I was telling him, I was saying, son, you got the size. You got the look. So when as soon as we walked in there, the dude was like, hey man, how old is your son? I said 12. He said 12. He said, we want him on our team. He didn't even see my man catch the football. He didn't do nothing. He didn't see him do nothing. I said, but you're going to have to work. I said, and even when you work, if you are to rise up out of this shit like Tank did, if you're going to get up, you're going to grab yourself by the bootstraps and rise up out of here, just know that as soon as you get up to the top, it's going to be a whole bunch of people trying to pull your black ass down. Talking about, get your black ass back down here. Where we at? You know our symbol is the crab, and we live all the way up to it. All the way. But it's last couple of days I could have made time. But I said, no, man, I'm gonna let this ride out. I'm just gonna sit here and look and listen and learn and reassess and evaluate everything that's going on in the sport. I'm gonna give it a nice, good assessment. And however I feel about it, after having watched, after having listened, indulged, I'll give my assessment on it. And you would think that the man lost. I seen a dude who got his shit busted. Now he cockeyed. Talking about he's a boxing, whatever, guru, a specialist trainer, all that. Last time I checked, he ain't never became a champion. Get a whole spotlight with a big ass microphone, just to talk about how bad Richardson Hitchins' technique and how lackluster it was. I'm like, pardon me, you ain't never been a champion, sir. You might have shared the ring with somebody, but what you look like, that's just the epitome of how we are. And I was calling it out leading up to the fight. I was calling it out. I said, man, it's disgusting. It's disgusting how many people was actually, it wasn't even based on skill. You know why? Because they never really paid attention to how good Richardson Hitchins was as a pure boxer. They were just infatuated with how Devin was and looking at everybody else, whatever their flavor was, whether it was T.O., whoever it was, they were just infatuated with looking at them. They never even paid attention. They were just like, oh man, all they seen was a darkie every time they seen him. They never looked at him for what he was and what he was able to do. They never even factored in that he was doing it under the IBF. That's why I checked the shit out of Devin and them when he first came out after that Limo situation. And he was talking shit to Richardson Hitchins. I'm like, well, sir, he's doing that under the IBF at 40, where it's a 10-pound rehydration. You can't do that. And not only did Paro come out and say that Devin Haney wanted $4 million, Eddie Hearn came out and said, maybe you $1 million fighter right now. I don't see why you wouldn't have took that. But that would have been a shot at that strap. And that was a clear indication that he ain't want no part of that IBF. So you can clown people all you want, but I always say the IBF gives a certain prestige because when you hold that belt, you can't balloon up. So you can talk shit all you want about somebody doing it. You ain't never done nothing like that. You done shrunk down and ballooned up and been fighting everybody with all the advantages. If it wasn't for the star Green that turned that C-level fighter into a star against Devin, we saw what would happen when you didn't have all the advantages. We saw what happened. You got knocked on your ass bag and was looking real sad, Jack. But I digress. Give this man a fair shake. Give this man the props that he deserves coming from Brooklyn, New York. I'm not saying he the best in the world. I'm just saying, man, like, we've seen how other champions get celebrated in Berlanga, Edgar Berlanga. And they was interviewing him outside of the fight. I was like, man, would they take the fucking microphone away from this dude? This nigga got washed for 12 rounds. Came out talking about he wanted to fight a heavyweight after that. And they gave him a parade. Y'all already know what time it is. The dude never even sniffed the title. I have to point out that when he went up against Damon Nicholson, went to Laurel High School, same place I went to Laurel High School. He's from Laurel. I graduated from Laurel High School. That's the first man that took Berlanga 12 rounds. He wasn't even active at that point. He was damn near, he had suffered some health issues and was in bad shape coming out of that. He was the first dude that took Berlanga. Berlanga can't say nothing. He was on that top-ranked diet, just like Keyshawn, just like Shakur was, just like everybody who, to a certain extent, was over there. They on that top-ranked diet until they rise up. Berlanga ain't got he ain't got nothing to, man, they friends and they cool. But this man was sitting up there talking like he done some shit because he just got washed by Canelo. Washed. The same shit that Jermell Charlo did, only guess what? Jermell Charlo was undisputed before. Berlanga ain't never even sniffed the belt. He had a parade. He was able to come out and tell people that, oh man, Tank can't come to Puerto Rico. I'm like, who the fuck are you? Y'all already know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is. Let's not talk about that elephant in the room. It's like, love your people, love your folks. I try not to get into all of this, but it be so, man, it's just as real as the air that we breathe, that we know that we need, but we just can't see. It's there. That thing that I'm talking about, that elephant in the room, is there. Y'all know it's there. Y'all know it's in the conversation. Y'all already know what it's about. I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick of it. I seen Shushu give this man his props. I like that. Devin was jaw-jacking with Jaleel Hackett, who's at 47. So barking up. So you barking up to a dude that's at 47, who I think need to go to 54. You won't go get your strap with Puelo. You outpressed yourself with Paro. You wanted Jack Catterall. And it's crazy because when Blair said let's fight, they said, "Oh man, just be honest, Bill. Just be honest and tell us that you ain't got nobody next, Blair." Blair was like, "No, I don't." He's like, "I'm trying to fight you in February. What more love can you have?" He said, "I respect y'all. I'm not up here shaming y'all and all this. I'm just saying, listen, let's get a venue. I got a time. I got a date. Let's get this set up." Oh man, come on, Blair. Like Bill tried to little boy him as if, oh man, you ain't got nothing set up, so Devin is your only option. Just say that Devin is your only option, right? But guess what? Later in that conversation, talking to Punch Drunk, Bill was looking for Tia, or claiming that he was looking for Tia. Because we already seen, I did a video on that afterwards, well afterwards. But they tried to gaslight me and tell me they wasn't in negotiations. I said, yes, they are. So now all y'all people with all these quote unquote large channels, so now y'all inside the negotiating room to where y'all can definitively say that they are not negotiating. I'm like, how do y'all even know they're not negotiating? It's proof that they are, but how do y'all know definitively that they're not? They was gaslighting me. Oh, nah, that's true. They came right out because they didn't have shit else to create. I tell y'all, when I come out, there's people that come out and do the exact opposite of what I say. That's why I say sometimes I don't even feed motherfuckers, because if I don't come out and say nothing, there's nothing to debate or go against, or I don't fuel you. He came out and said he was begging Punch to get in contact with T.O. And when Punch asked him, he's like, nah, we ain't got nothing set up next. We ain't got nothing going on. So the way you tried to play Blair, who was a 47-pounder, just like Jaleel, the rising prospect who just got pickpocketed. He got pickpocketed. I won't say robbed. He got pickpocketed. You ain't had nothing to say to Blair other than to try to make his image look bad because he said he didn't have anything set up etched in stone. Only to find out y'all didn't have anything etched in stone. That's the politics that they do. So had everybody running around, oh, Blair sound like a damn fool, trying to go down, trying to pick on the Devin and all. I was like, well, why can't Devin fight Boots? No answer. I always get left on red. When I say why Devin ain't go get his strap back? No answer. Well, my new question is, why you jaw-jacking with Jaleel Hackett and you ain't calling out Richardson Hitchins? He said, I only want big fights, and he put a name on it. Richardson Hitchins said, I want T.O. next, even though I think it's going to be Kambosos. I think it's going to be Kambosos, and that's why they lined him up. Because they was thinking, don't get me wrong, but I can imagine that they had him move up to 40 because they were going to try to set up Paro versus Kambosos. But it didn't work out like that. But a good name, a good legacy fight for him, since he do want to bark up at 40. Kambosos is at 40, and he with Matchroom are coming home for him for Richardson Hitchins in New York. And guess what happened? He gonna probably tear Kambosos up way worse. He ain't gonna go 24 rounds with him. He'll fuck around and stop Kambosos. Watch what I tell you, and that's when you're gonna actually see a difference. You're not gonna see a difference until the young man who was down at 35, who fought one time and got undisputed. One fight in Kambosos got undisputed. You're not gonna see a difference until that guy who fought one time and got undisputed comes up and fights some of these other guys that's been at 40 with the dimensions, or go up to 47. Because he did that to Regis, but he didn't have the dimensions. Even though I give him full credit for it. You're not going to see it till they get up there to 47. Last time I checked, Richardson Hitchins didn't get fast track like Keyshawn, yet he has a belt. Now I do appreciate that Shakur came out and gave this man his props. And he called out that judge that should never judge a fight again without giving a written explanation as to how the fuck you can have a 117, 111 after seeing that kind of performance. A written explanation. Well, he should never be able to judge boxing again. Because that really should have been a unanimous decision, not a split one. Because everybody saw it. And when Kanye told Sway, you ain't got the answers, Paro didn't have the answers. He kept doing the same thing over and over again. And for all the people that, all the boxing players who all say it's not about the knockout, he was the Teflon Don in this one. Damn near pitched the shutout. He gave up the first 4, figured him out, boxed his way to victory. For all these people who don't like the knockout, it's not all about that. Well, that's why I said this was the battle of the unrated, the underrateds. And I told you, legacy defined. This was the thumbnail with the breakdown. If I'm lying, go back and look at the whole assessment of the whole fight and how I called it. Exactly how I called it. And I said reach was going to be a factor because he's one of them guys, when you reach, I teach. And when he kept doing it, he kept teaching them. Jab, right hand, pivot out. Sometimes a 3-piece, sometimes a 2-piece. And then he had to deal with the, nobody talking about the elephant in the room, which is that fugazi ass ring they gave him. Cause the dude Quintana was slipping in the middle of that ring in the middle. I'm like, y'all gotta, like, as professionals with all with $1 million deals and titles on the line, there's somebody should go out there, get the canvas wet and move around on that shit. You shouldn't have to deal with that in real time where you slipping all in the middle of a canvas. Overcame all of that. You go to throw a punch, if you was set in the middle of that canvas where that slick shit was, they slipping all around and all that. My whole thing was, man, I don't see why everybody was so somber or sounding somber and having all this criticism for Richardson Hitchins when he won and he got a strap. Why couldn't he get celebrated like everybody else? He didn't get fast tracked. He ain't had no loudmouth father out here running around. He had Coach Lenny, and Lenny was telling him in the corner, like, listen, what are you doing? This is blah, blah, blah. This is how we going. He was just giving it to him. You're like, okay, all right, listen. He went out there, he made the adjustments and made it happen. He showed he gonna listen to the tutelage in his corner, go out there and execute. Are you not entertained? Nah, because it's not about that. It's because the guy who you've been jockstrap riding, the guy who you think is popular, because he didn't do it, this man over here can't get no credit. And I'm telling you, all these people that's supposed to be boxing purists are exposed. This fight exposed a lot of people. A lot. I'm trying to think if there's any more examples, man, before I come out of some of the ugliest things I've been seeing and hearing here after this fight and through it and throughout this fight. Like, oh my gosh, man. As far as these boxers and these double standards, it's like, why didn't Devin call it? Why is he picking on, allegedly picking on somebody in Jaleel Hackett who's a prospect? And you notice how he always going at the young prospects? Y'all noticed that, right? So when it was Kid Austin, he was quick to go at him and do all this and all this jaw-jacking. But you notice he ain't never said Gary Antoine, who he had a lot to say when Mr. Gary Russell lost that fight. And Gary Antoine said, hey, well, if you feel like that about my brother, when you come up here to 140, holler at me. Crickets. Him and Subriel would have been a good get back fight. Only Subriel went ahead and got back and then got back. Put his man down in 3 rounds. We still waiting on your mans. But why he picking on a prospect and he won't call out Richardson Hitchins? Because either A, they know they had a plan and it's going to be a rematch with Ryan and everybody know it. It's either that and all this other shit is gaslighting and bullshit. Now this man coming out talking about all these other promoters. But I thought he was a boss. Huh? I thought he was a boss. Richardson Hitchins got a strap. You got a good relationship with Eddie. Oh, that porridge is too... That porridge might be too hot. And that Pueblo porridge, that porridge might just be a little bit too cold for you. You try to look for that porridge that's just right. And guess what? Until you grab your nuts, young man, and you're not match made, and you show that you have that level where you can level up and adjust to somebody that got all the same dimensions as you, that might have some of their advantages. And I'm saying the same thing about Shakur. I was sparing Shakur for the longest, because I never pointed this out. Shakur, Devin, and Boots. They all fight people where they all have all the advantages. That's why, before I come out, that's why I find it crazy that once again, it's talks, and T.O. get to just float around after the Claggett. I don't know how he just get to float around after the Claggett situation. And Jermaine Ortiz really boxed his ears off. But after the Claggett situation, you picked a man with all that losses and people's, oh man, you need fights like that. You don't need fights like that when you're on that level. But he get the clout of being able to run around, attach himself to all these names. Now he's getting attached to Boots. And I'm like, okay, that might be great for T.O. as far as I'm not sure if he'll win that fight. But once again, Boots. Another 40 moving up. God damn. Nobody gonna tell y'all this, man, but it's not right, man. It's not right. It's not right. That's all I really had to say, man. I'm gonna go ahead and look at these comments because I wasn't looking. I'm gonna be honest. Like always, until I get done with my spiel. But I had to get that out. And that's almost damn near an hour to the T. Forgive me. It's still stream, y'all. Bodywork. Sounding good. Salute, Cookie Monster. Coke Key. Salute, Coke Key. Good to see you. Bodywork. The Haney voice was straight glazing Devin today. It was sad to watch Ness attacks his own panel because they don't buy into the Devin. Yeah, I glimpsed in for a second, and lately I just been looking. I see the topic, I jump in and see what's going on, and once I hear that, they on that same bullshit. I told you, some people just like it missionary every day, man. No, nothing else. It's just missionary. Same old bullshit every day. I can't, man. We got to switch it up. We got to change it up. I can't do it. Haney fans think Hitchins isn't that good. It's funny because Devin would never fight under the IBF rules. Boxing fans got to give Hitchins his respect. He showed up. Matias fans too. Matias didn't. Exactly. Yeah, Hawkins had to face some tough month. Yeah, he tough as hell. Yeah. Let's see. I'm sick of 90% of boxing. New Devin come back and T.O. shouting out black. Yep, that's all he get to do. Yeah, they got the game messed up. Dominated Paro. They tried to rob. Yep, they tried to rob that guy. Hitchins is superior to Devin just based on the fact Hitchins fights under the IBF rules. Haney would weight 165 against 130 pounders. Facts plus tax, you got to think. Because some people argue that Loma won that fight, right? I argue that I had Devin edged it. Me and my father-in-law, we watched it. We both had Devin Haney edging it. And you already know how I feel. I'm just pure about it. But I couldn't argue with anybody And the only thing I always say, the only thing is Loma took off that 12th round. If he didn't think that he had it in his pocket, and he didn't take that 12th round off, that fight would have went to Lomachenko. If Lomachenko would have closed that out, because that's how they actually robbed Jalil, because he didn't close out the fight. He gave up like the last 3 rounds in a row. So that was the impetus for him getting robbed. So if Loma would have closed that fight out the way he should, it would have been a totally different verdict. And you can see the size difference when they was lined up against each other. And when Loma first saw, he said, "Oh, he's a middleweight." So all that shit that they be saying, that bias that they have for Devin, is just because they sipping the Kool-Aid, man. They sipping the Kool-Aid, man. What's good with Devin posting these sparring? Hey man, it's sloppy. It's the same old shit. Like, why you post like, yeah, with the Paro stuff beforehand? Yo, I made it. What's good, Mike? Jose Rodriguez, salute. A win is a win. Ain't nobody wanted to see Paro versus Kambosos. That wouldn't be a tragedy. That would have been a tragedy. Yeah, I told you, bro. Boxing is wild west of sports. Yeah. Berlanga's a clown. That's what I said. He's sitting up there talking like he did some shit after that. I'm like, listen, man, I'm like, man, you ain't never even sniffed the belt. Shut down and shut the fuck up, man. You got washed. Now you got all this power and all this say because you got them people behind. You got washed. Bodywork, I know what you meant on T.O. moving up to see Boots, but I want someone to smash T.O. so he can stop talking about homie. I kind of do too. You know what I'm saying? I just don't like the fact that that's going to play right in the Boots' hand. What is that going to do for Boots? Because he say he want undisputed. Is fighting T.O. going to get him undisputed? This is why I be saying they be giving out these mixed signals. And don't nobody call him out. Even when he lied, they say, "Oh man, that's ducking now." Right, bro. They be telling us exactly. What up, Smoke? Salute, Smoke. Devin caught between a rock and a hard place. Nowhere to run to, baby. Nowhere to hide. Yes. Bosses, don't act like that. Can we just get some damn fights that matter? Devin is a chump. That's why he posted sparring clips. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, I would say last 3, last 4. Yeah, you could say 4. You could say last 3, last 4. But I cannot see Jose. This is what I'm saying, because I know Jalil. He's just a brutalizer. He a young guy. He didn't really make any adjustments. But what I can say is I did not see Jose win 6 rounds. That's why I say he got pickpocketed. And you got to learn how to close the fight. You got to make an adjustment and do something, to impose your will. Even if you take off that many rounds, even if you take off 3 rounds, you got to come out and finish strong in that 10th. But I did not see Jose winning. I did not see Jose winning 6 rounds. That's why I say pickpocket, man, because you can't do that. You can't have that kind of performance in Puerto Rico. But the young man took it like a champ, man. He representing the city pretty good, man. With his demeanor, his temperament afterwards. And it's a shame that Devin calling out that dude, but he ain't got shit to say to Hitchins, shit to say to Puelo. We already know what's going on with T.O. He ain't want that. Turn down a 2.5 plus a 55-45 pay-per-view split, 2.5 guaranteed with a 55-45 pay-per-view split. That sound like some money. Didn't want that. Wanted $4 million for Paro. Didn't want that. Wanted Catterall. Oh man. Oh man, it's bad, man. It's bad, man. I haven't even heard nothing from his biggest knee pad wearing fan, man. I don't think Jaleel lost the fight, but if you fight like that against better competition, I don't know. Yeah. Well, I don't know if he's one of them guys that fight to the level of his competition. I don't know. I know he's a young guy. He's 21 years old, man. He's 21 years old. He had been inactive over there with TMT. You know, he had a setback. But he's still young. He still got time to grow. He still got time to learn. I don't think he lost that fight. I don't think. But I think that he's going to turn this into a lesson. You know, everybody's not going to be like the best thing since sliced bread. And that's another thing that's been disheartening for me listening to a lot of these boxing conversations out here, because they'll shit on a young dude, don't give him no room to grow. He's been inactive. I think he might have already been at 47 too long. He need to go to 54, in my opinion, because it's looking like his gas tank is affected. You know what I'm saying? And it's just sloppy. It's just sloppy, man. I mean, I got Hackett beating Haney. Haney should stop dissing on Twitter. I mean, I don't even want to entertain the thought of them two fighting, because that's some sucker shit. That's some sucker shit on behalf of Devin. Anybody co-signing that bullshit? It's like, no, it's somebody in your division. But why would you be in there going back and forth? Why would you be in there going back and forth with a prospect at 47? But you wouldn't dare tip your toe in the water with Blair. You wouldn't dare go up there and fight Boots. T.O. getting ready to do something once again. Because I say Teofimo Lopez has done everything that Devin Haney did before Devin Haney do it. He getting ready to let Teofimo Lopez go up to 47 before him once again. And all his fans going to be saying, oh man, T.O. always ducking Devin. It's like, yeah, that's one of them that's your perception. That's part of the tribe you in. That's what you want to run with. You looking at it through them Devin Rose colored glasses. And ain't nothing we can say. You're not going to gaslight me. Run with it. Play on, player. If that's what you think, that's what make you sleep better at night, go ahead and run with it. That's how you make your money in your super chats, running with that shit. Go ahead and run with it. Go on get your money, little duffel bag boy. I'm not knocking you. I'll never stop a man from getting his bag. I'll never get in between the fight either. I just think that it's ironic that people are not pointing this out. Why would you be jaw-jacking with a 47-pound prospect? No talk about you and Conor Ben. No talk about you and Boots. No talk about Blair to Flair. No talk about you and Brian Norman. And you gotta think, they wanted to be the first one to go up and get Mario Barrios. That's the first thing they kept saying. Oh, we gonna get Mario Barrios, bro. Mario. Even though when Tank fought him, they say, oh, who was Mario Barrios? But when Devin's, oh yeah, he should fight Mario. That'll be a good matchup. Double standards. I'm done with it. But the kid is very mature. I seen an interview with Mill City. Yeah, he is. Jalil's mature, man. He's got a boxing dad. You know what I'm saying? He's not as vulgar and as outspoken as a lot of the other people. The man raised him in the streets of DC. He's already beat the odds. That's what I be trying to talk about with these young guys. When you beat the odds and you get in a fight on TV and people flying you out, you got major promotion behind you. You got to look at everything. But that's another boxing dad, boxing son. You know, and he don't get the credit as a boxing dad. You know, his son he had a hard lesson. Now, I don't know. I did see some things Jalil can improve on. He got to make adjustments. I think he got to go up to 54, man. He got the frame for it. He got the body for it. Maybe his power will translate. Bigger risk at 54. But you gotta grab your nuts like Jahai. Jalil gotta pull a Jahai. Jalil got to pull a Jahai. Jahai was a smaller guy Jumped all the way up, man. Jumped all the way up because of his body. And he's been developing his style. I think once he starts sitting down on shit and he settled down where he ain't moving around as much, he very, very dangerous. Very, very dangerous, man. Ain't he blaming Eddie Hearn that he's not getting? How you gonna blame you? I thought you was a boss. That's why I say they do this all the time. Oh, now it's the promotional company. But I thought you was the promotional company. So now it all comes to light. I told y'all about gaslighting. It's a very dangerous thing. People run with that shit in real time knowing that all that shit ain't true. And then in hindsight, then, okay, so what you need a promotional company for? What you need you the man. You had your own shit. Like, you was a boss. Like, so now is Eddie's fault? Right. That sounds like some suck ass shit. Like when you don't get your way, oh, it's not me, man. It's them, man. It's them. Ain't gonna lie. Carter been talking very spicy. Yeah, I heard the little whatever. I heard the whatever he said. But it's crazy. People say, oh, Tank duck Conor Ben. I'm like, don't Conor Ben fight at 47? Yeah, but he ducked that 50. He ducked this. Okay, so with that same logic, how many people did Devin Haney duck there? I used to like Conor Ben, man. I don't know if he the same after the egg situation. I don't know if that's the same guy. But I used to like Conor Ben, man. I just don't know who he is now. Conor Ben is being groomed, but his talent doesn't meet what Eddie would ideally want. I got Blair Cobbs beating Ben. Ben and him should fight. Eddie don't want no parts of Blair. I think he look at Blair like this dude might come in and fuck up my plans, man. And I don't know if Blair wants to do a long-term deal. And I don't know what's going on with Don King and them in the plan. Because every time I talk to them, I'm like, what's their plan for you? Like, you got a label, but what's their plan for you? You know, I don't know, man. I'm starting to get worried. Bodywork, I don't know if you watched the Yankee L fight, but if you did, what you think? Yeah, I had shouted out Yankee L. I like Yankee L, man. He's an exciting little fighter, man. I've been watching him. I've seen his last 3 fights. I like that little guy, man. He fight, man. I like him, man. He's an exciting little guy to watch, man. He is a little beast. He is. You right. He is. He is an exciting guy, man. Pitbull Cruz is like 190 pounds right now. Dude got fat waiting for the Tank rematch. He need to go ahead and get back down. He need to get in shape like Tank did and go back to 35. Cruz is not a 40, man. Jose said you really like him. Yeah. Cruz is not a 40, man. He don't have the skills. Because them guys with them longer dimensions, like if he tried to fight somebody like Richardson Hitchins, man, it'll probably look worse than him and Ryu. What made Ryu so dangerous is like his susceptibility to being able to get hit, but also he wants to land his power too. Like a Puelo or a Richardson Hitchins, they just gonna box his ears off. He don't got the dimensions. His arms is too short to box with the guys, man. He need to get in shape and stay at 35 where he's a real force. It's just like when what's his name? Chris Colbert. Chris Colbert ain't got no business up at no 135. He just can't stay in shape and maintain his weight to where he fight in his. He's a 126, 130. He not committed to staying down at that weight and staying in shape. He don't have the dimensions or the power to box up there with them guys. It's just some fighters are like that. Yeah, Cobbs is a wild card. Oh, you heard Madrimal pulled out? I seen that. I got to do some research, but I did see the clippings of it. I seen it. T.O. and Haney going to duck Hitchins because he doesn't sell. A lot of guys they're going to try to say that. 140 may never be unified because of divas and politics. I think the prime era is over. Wow. 140 been changing titles every 4 to 6 months. I wish we did a Super 6 like they did for middleweights. Aaron Jones, yo, what's happening, man? Aaron Jones finally caught one, man. He finally caught a live. What's up, man? Hope all is well, man. Hope all is well, man. There's been a lot going on today, man. Or not today, but here recently. It's just been a lot. Yeah, man. I just had this on my mind, man. I appreciate it. You know, we stay grinding over here, man. I step away for a little while, man, and I say, you know what? I'm gonna sit back and watch sometimes. Sometimes I just sit back and watch, man. I give things some time. I analyze what people are saying. I make a bookmark, and I'm here to put stakes in the ground like always, man. Oh, when you say prime, yeah. Prime time, Chris Colbert. One time he was Lil B Hop, then he was prime time. But yeah, I think prime is, yeah. I just want someone to shut T.O. up in 2025. It's getting bad, man. Now he walking around like some celebrity. I'm like, man, you've been training with Reynoso. Okay, you made that offer to Devin and Cambosis. Okay, now you get the clout of Boots. You was clouting Bud. It's just like, man, would you? Remember I was saying shit'll get off the pot. Remember I was saying that it's time for you to shit'll get off the pot. It's like, cause after Claggett, how Claggett had you all like had your eyebrows all busted up, your eyelids. Looking like Kermit out this motherfucker. Like, come on, man. I mean, Jermaine Ortiz boxed your head off if it wasn't for the business of boxing. If Jermaine Ortiz had came out of his shell before the T.O. fight and not after the T.O. fight, because Jermaine Ortiz, he's a different Jermaine Ortiz now. He said, oh, man, all that, being meek, and he's like, nah, he's still respectable and all that, but he's like, man, I'm a talk more. I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna let, I'm gonna go in there and give the crowd a performance. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go in there and get the job done. Now I don't know how good that last guy he fought, but he did go in there and stop him. And he made an effort to stop him. But if it wasn't for the business of boxing, Jermaine Ortiz would have had that title. And that's crazy because Jermaine Ortiz, it was a coin toss with him and Loma. But the business of boxing said that belt make more money or made more sense around T.O.'s waist. So he retained it. And that's the way the game is, man. But I had them beaten. I had the score. I scored that fight, and Jermaine Ortiz won in my book. By the scorecard, like by scoring the fight round by round, Jermaine Ortiz won. But it was the business of boxing. I don't even want to say that, but I'm glad somebody said it. I'm glad somebody said it. But you know what, Jose? I'm glad you said that. But you know what? I was like, man, you can go train with whoever you want. Like if you somebody like T.O. can go train with whoever he want. You know what's gonna happen? When he get inside the ring, he's gonna revert back to doing them same bad habits. He's one of them guys. He can go train and pick up this and do that. He's gonna revert right back to them same habits. T.O. been delusional since he beat Loma. Yeah, he lost it. Then when he came and he beat Josh Taylor and they start saying, Delenio. I'm Delenio. I'm so tired of like, when are you going to line your ass up with one of these other guys and unify, bruh? Where you going to unify, bruh? Delenio. Every time I hear his dad, Delenio. Listen, he's Delenio. Okay, he's Delenio. Okay, we got that. We understand. He's Delenio. All right, brother. He's Delenio. Delenio. Line your ass up and go unify with one of these other guys. since you legacy, I can see if you was like, oh, it's just about the bag and this. If you since you legacy, cause people pick and choose that legacy shit. They pick and choose that legacy shit, man. Eddie Reynoso is tailor-made for Canelo, nobody else. Yeah, but they gonna have T.O. thinking that he can get in there and do all that shit, that because you know they gonna think that T.O. gonna be able to have that upper body movement like Canelo, man. I'm like, that's not some shit you pick up overnight, man. And when you get hit in your face, because he got more problems than that. T.O. has more problems than that. T.O. when T.O. is the aggressor, he get caught coming in and he get caught going out. He can be timed. He could be timed. He get caught going in and he get caught coming out. Now, if you let him get on the inside, he could be dangerous because he's explosive. You know, and for the most part, T.O. is accurate in close range. It's just that when he don't know how to enter and exit. And part of me believes that Gary Antoine kind of have that problem too when it comes to getting in. I think he'd be able to get out, but I think going in, he got that problem where you can time him coming in because it's a way that they go in that's not sound, and they get time coming in. But T.O. get time coming in and out. I think Gary Antoine, I think is really going in. He clean that up, he gonna be right back to being that dangerous boogeyman, like that pressure, relentless body puncher, the butcher. I wouldn't mind seeing Gary Antoine and T.O., but then I didn't like the energy how he didn't want to check T.O. He said, oh, that's my friend. I got to see how I'm like, but y'all got all this animosity towards. Anyways, Maryland is known for craps, man. Plus T.O. Pop's always going to get in the way, yeah. We know how Canelo wins his fights. Man, those you talking about those stuff, man? It was just some tacos, man. That's all that was, man. It was just some tacos, man, with that special sauce, man. I wonder what's going on with Pelo for the title. Is he going to defend it? Yeah, Sandor Martin. People shitting on that. I'm like, where's all these? You see the irony when people be talking about, oh, I'm just a pure boxing fan. It's not about the knockout. Now, Puelo is getting ready to fight Sandor Martin. Everybody saying, oh man, who want to see that? I want to see it. I want to see that fight. That means that you're really not a pure boxing fan. You just a hater of whoever's doing something that your fighter can't. Yeah. When somebody knocking motherfuckers out and doing all that, like Abdullah Mason, he doing, oh man, but he got dropped. I was like, no, but he got up and he stopped this guy. He got up and stopped this guy. You know what I'm saying? What to your excuse to not fight Puelo? Didn't Puelo get Devin's vacant title? I only want the big fights, man. I'm the lenient. I only want big fights, man. I only want big fights. I'm the lenient. I think Hitchins and Puelo both out IQ and outbox T.O. T.O. will get frustrated. T.O. fights on emotions and he has patterns. T.O. relies on fast twitch and reflex. Exactly. You can time that man. You can frustrate him. He'll leap in, and once he leap in and he don't get nothing, and he miss, because Jermaine Ortiz had him missing and whiffing. If head on the straight line was a person, it would be T.O. Oh man, that's funny, man. I don't know why he won't go ahead and unify. If Richardson Hitchins is easy work, he called you out. What else you want? Everybody else. See, this also exposed people because Richardson Hitchins won. He didn't call out a bunch of names. He didn't pull a Keyshawn and say, "Oh, I want to fight Boots" or some shit like that. Somebody that we know damn well he ain't gonna fight. He won and said, I would like to unify. Let's do it back in New York City. A fight that makes all the sense in the world. If it's the green print, it's a unification. Eddie would make the fight happen. They both two kids from where? Brooklyn? Oh, man, why you want to fight T? Oh, man, come on, man. But when you call it, but that make too much sense, right? But Keyshawn wins talking about he won knock Tank. Nothing about Baranchek. Ain't tasted the belt yet. And they, oh man, why is Tank ducking, man? He ducking. He ducking, man. That's some quack sauce. That's duck sauce, man. Like, come on, man. Get the fuck out of here, man. Poilo Martin winner gets T.O. They not boxing fans, Mike. They are fanboys waiting for their favorite fighter to do what someone else is doing so they can give them the credit. Exactly. That's what I be saying. I like when I heard, like, man, listen. The last time I was really frustrated like this was when the assumption or the notion was put out there that David Morrell and David Benavidez was getting ready to fight. The biggest microphone on boxing came out and shitted on the fight all day the next day. I said, man, listen, man, you guys are not boxing fans. I don't know what you are. I don't know. You might moonlight as boxing fans, but this is really like what they say. It's the Breakfast Club of boxing. It's like they trying to be Charlemagne, looking up to Charlemagne the God. Like, if that's your, if you look up to Charlemagne the God, you look up to that man. Like, listen, man, that's all I need to hear, man. That's all I need to hear. You moonlight as a boxing fan, you moonlight as a hardcore, but you have an agenda. You have an agenda, man. T.O. Pop sound like the guy from Fantasy Island, the plane. Delenio, boss, Delenio. Listen, right, my son, right? Nobody fights like my son, right? Like my son, man, listen, my son, when we were amateurs, listen, man, my son, he knocked off Freddy Krueger's head. I'm trying to tell you, you guys don't know the power. Listen, man. One time we went to a wrestling match, man, and my son, he ran into Jason, man. I'm trying to tell you, man. He gave Jason the business, man. My son, listen, my son, he's the lineal champion. Nobody is like my son. Nobody can beat my son, man. I'm trying to tell you, man. Fuck out of here. Mullians. Yeah. Yep, that's who it was. Yep. They shitted on that David Morrell, David Benavidez fight. They still are to this day. They was accusing David Benavidez of using Canelo's name for clout. He said, okay, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna forge my own path. You know what they said when he said he was moving them to say, oh man, he ain't really want Canelo like that, man. He should have showed up. But I thought he was using Canelo for clout. And now he getting ready to fight a guy that is very dangerous. A guy that's been chasing him. Calling his name out. He's been defending Canelo's WBA mandatories all that time at 168. That's why I was calling him El Sicario. Ronnie Shields was calling him El Sicario because since 2020, he was defending Canelo's mandatories for that WBA. After every fight, when he would knock his opponent out, listen, outside the ring, man, I respect everything and everybody. But inside the ring, I don't respect nothing, man. I want David Benavidez. See David Benavidez. I want David Benavidez. He say he's the monster, man. I want David Benavidez. So when David Benavidez declares he's going to 75, the talented Mr. David Morrell said, you know what? Hold my beer. I'm going to 175. I'm like, hey, so if you a boxing fan, that's the energy you love. You like to call out when it's something that makes sense. It's something that's achievable. Something that the boxing fans would love to watch. They are shitting on this fight until this day. This is why I be trying to tell you, these guys moonlight as boxing fans. They are not boxing fans. They are something else. They are the boxing club, where you can call in and you can talk shit about fighters You can if somebody doing better than your fighter, you can gaslight it and get a bunch of voices to say the same dumbass shit about him all day. These dumbass dudes, I think this was Friday night. These dumbass dudes did an 8-hour and 40-something minute live shitting on Tank. Shitting on Tank. But then they turn around and tell you all that, oh, he ain't the face about, man. He ain't did shit. Listen, man, he didn't unify. He didn't all this other stuff. But let somebody make some money like Jake Paul. Oh, man, he the money man, man. You gotta, okay, so who's the money man? Like, who is the money man then? Like, ain't Tank the money man too? In boxing, the real way? Double standards, man. But Tank keep the lights on, man. And like I told y'all, it's this, whenever you can get up and you can say anything that's gonna shit on Tank, you're showing your blind pledge allegiance to the Tank hate, and so you have a place there. You can stay. You can have comfort. If you can get up there and figure out something to troll this man about, something in his personal life, something that happened, whatever, that's it. But because their fighter can't do what Tank does inside the ring, he ain't shit. They are not boxing fans. They came out, listen, they came out when PBC was announced that they was giving a free fight. They came out and based some shit and said that they didn't like the fight over some names. Over some names. Oh man, how you gonna have? Oh man, how you Zoo versus Murtazaliev? How you gonna have Zoo versus Bakram? What kind of fight is that? Tim versus Bakram? Zoo versus Murtazaliev? What is this? What wound up happening with that fight? And what kind of matchup was that fight? Because you got to remember, Tim Tszyu got his belt the same way that Boots had. That's why I kept saying, man, hold on. Everybody was giving Tim Tszyu credit, but they wasn't giving Boots no credit. And I said, hold on. They both got their belt the same way. But they shitted on that Tszyu Murtazaliev fight. And what wound up happening? Bakram wound up stopping his ass, and guess what they said? Oh man, you think it was the matchmaking, man? Like you think he should have went in there? Gave Bakram no credit. And to this day, nobody would tell me why nobody would say Bakram's name. Nobody. It's like the man don't exist. He got a whole IBF strap, doing it under the IBF rules. That's what's so crazy. That's what's so crazy. Nobody will say Bakram's name. I'm talking about when I say nobody, I'm not exempting anybody in the sport. Anybody in or around his weight division will not say Bakram's name. And nobody will call out anybody else for not saying that man's name. So are you boxing fans or not? They can't talk about their favorite fighter like real shit. Though none of them are doing shit but trying to be Tank. Exactly. Exactly, man. Every interview, every title. I'm talking about, I be looking at titles and I be seeing a thumbnail of somebody. The whole title, the whole thing, like everything is Tank. They use his name to sell to get you to click on the video, and that's the whole thing. It's like, I'm talking about Matchroom did a segment. Like, why is Matchroom doing a segment on Tank? Why are people at Top Rank talking about Tank? Why is everybody on the internet talking about Tank if he ain't shit? Because their favorite fighter, they're not asking how hard does Shakur hit. They're not asking, oh, have you felt Keyshawn's power? The fighter that they actually like, people are not intrigued or wanting to know about them guys in that manner. So they have to use Tank. That's why I was like, listen, man, for this guy not to be shit in the sport, why do y'all talk or use his name for everything? This one dumbass dude was talking to Jersey Vargas. Had an interview with Jersey Vargas, but was talking about Tank. I'm like, I thought I was about to learn something about Jersey Vargas. I didn't learn shit. They was asking him about Tank. So I say, damn, man. I say, Tank name must be like crack. You know what this dude said? Yeah, I said something about Tank. If you don't like it, come punch me in the mouth. Some YouTube shit. So I said, well, well, I guess you like getting punished. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? How are you supposed to? Like, what? If you don't like it, come punch me in the mouth. Or some internet shit. Like, what? But he's a plant. He's an industry plant. All of them guys. If you look at all them guys that they got sitting around doing all these interviews, what they look like and what are they? What's their background? I said this the other day. What are they? What's their background? Why are they getting all these interviews? Because it's the green print. They are plants. The visuals don't look like nothing. The questions don't be looking like nothing. They literally be sitting there with notepads in front of them, reading off a piece of paper. They don't know who the guys fought last. They don't know the verdict of the fights. Oh yeah, because in your last fight, Gary Antoine told me, he's like, I didn't fight him on my last. I didn't just fight. He's like, oh yeah, oh well. Anyway, next question. Not even prepared. Not even prepared. Not even prepared, man. Their favorite fighter been trying to copy Tank instead of building up their own brand. Now look where they got. Yeah, you called it out. You called it out a long time ago. You said, man, they're not the same fan base, and they never understood that. They were piggybacking off of the potential of them meeting, but once they really figured out that they're not the same fan base, and that man looked, he was exposed because he finally fought somebody where he didn't have all the advantages. They lost it because they didn't have the potential. Now, see, before you could argue and debate. Oh man, nah, he just gonna box circles. He gonna do this. He gonna do that. It's like now you can't argue that. You can't argue that. They reason that he might still be able to do it, but you can't argue about it because people's eyes already seen him get knocked on his ass bag and he was looking real sad. Black can't argue it no more. So now the potential is gone. The thrill is gone. It's like, oh, I wonder what if they got in the same ring and this. So now the potential of the fight, they fucked it up. I hate when they upgrade this guy to champions. How about fighting for the damn belts? Yeah. It's way better fighters to talk about. Shaking my head. I figure it's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a dope podcast to step to. But nah, man, I take my little breaks, man, so that I won't be on here sounding like I'm just going nuts or whatever. My whole thing was to do this. The same way I was doing for Sabril, I'm doing it with Richardson Hitchins, man. That man earned his strap. He brought himself up from his bootstraps. He always put New York on his back, right? And everything he did, he climbed up out of TMT. He transitioned over to Matchroom. He did it under the IBF. He beat the man that beat the man. And listen, there's video from years ago, and I have videos. I have videos where I've done it and I've played it on here, where Richardson Hitchins was talking that shit to Devin Haney. Cash Money. Been calling him out. Salute to Crush. Salute. If you get a chance to check out Crush in the morning, man, he be up at the crack of dawn, man. I was missing him for a little while, but I've been getting up doing my little workout, man. So I'll be working out. He got a little segment he be doing. It's real early, man. It's like 6. But I've been getting up, working out, listening to the coffee and donuts while I work out and shit. Getting my day started, man. But check out, subscribe to Crush. You know what I'm saying? He a OG, man. Y'all know how I am, man. I'm insulated, man. I only keep thorough people around me, man. If you ain't thorough, I don't want nothing to do with you. If I don't trust you, I don't want to do with you. I wouldn't steer you wrong. But check out Crush. Brooklyn hit AC. What's going on? Salute Bodywork. Salute AC. I give Richardson Hitchins his credit. You knew I wasn't a fan at first. Yeah, I knew. I was gonna get around in there, Aaron Jones. I've been trying to tell you, man. Him and Devin, they the same side. They the different sides of the same coin, except for, like I said, he got a little more power. He's more defensive sound, and he's not as clumsy. You know what I'm saying? But Aaron wasn't a fan. Aaron wasn't a fan of him either. But you know what I'm saying? He gave him his credit. I was just saying, give the man his credit, man. He came up out the mud, man. He living the American dream. Let that man have his glory. Give him the same glory you give all them foreigners when they come over and they do something crazy. There's a lot of people hopping on Tim Zoo's strap, on his jock strap. It was a lot of people, all things foreign, man. We love all things foreign, but we don't celebrate our own. And the elephant in the room, this is the elephant in the room. Y'all know what the elephant in the room is, man. Just because that man dark skinned. You know what I'm saying? Just because that man was dark skinned, man. A lot of people was coming out just openly. I'm just like, man, it was too thick for me, man. It was too no diddy. It was too the tension and the message and the shit that I was seeing and hearing around this. That whole issue was just too apparent to me. I'm like, y'all just being blatantly obvious with it. So what? So what? Like, melanin is celebrated all across the world, but here. But here. Like, we are programmed to pull our own down, to devalue, belittle, demean. You know, get a man his props, man. I'm not saying put him up on Mount Rushmore. I'm just saying celebrate him like you celebrate all the other champs. He crossed over. It's just like when you a specialist and then you go into becoming a sergeant. When you cross over into leadership, he broke. So no longer he can't say future champ and all. He fought a man inside the ring. He didn't fight for no bacon. He didn't get his strap emailed to him. He fought a guy who beat the guy. And he had a whole country behind him. So you know, we already started the business of boxing wanted Paro to win because Paro was going to be an Australian bag waiting to happen. He overcame all those odds. His coach Lenny talked that stuff, and he even clarified something about the Sabril fight. He said they would never offered it. He listened to his coach and became a champ. And he from Brooklyn, son. He did it the right way, man. Get a man his props. Devin more like a robot. Hitchins more fluid. Yeah, he more fluid. He's more, I'm telling you, I've been saying this for the longest time, but people were so in love with Devin and infatuated with what he was doing. I kept reminding people, he's doing that at 35. They was like, oh man, he's doing that at 35. Oh man, Devin, man, listen, man, he undisputed. There was one fight, and he did that at 35. He wasn't doing that at 40, man. This man didn't shrink down like that, man. He didn't shrink down and take advantage of people because he was taller with longer dimensions. You know what I'm saying? With that same classical boxing style. They similar. I think he's more technically sound, man. Bodywork was going on to AJ and Hurts. What's going on with AJ and Hurts? AJ. These fake hardcore boxing fans swear they wish they bring back the old days, but they only cover 1 or 2 fighters. That's why I say, man, like, I'm like, man, y'all not even boxing. Y'all want to sit around. I'm telling you, man, it's 2 positions, man. It's missionary. It's pretty much missionary in the in the bed, and then missionary on the couch. That's just it. That's all they got, man. Ain't nothing else to it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no other possibilities, man. Just missionary on the bed and missionary on the couch, man. Every day, man. All day, every day, man. No flavor. You know, no mix up. No nothing. You know. Oh, I ain't been on it, man. I've been peeping them. I'm just glad we still winning. But like I said, man, I'm dedicated to boxing, man. I catch up. Like, if I have idle time, I'll catch up on them, man. But I don't know what's up. I don't know, man. I don't know. I haven't even sat down and watched all the highlights from when we beat the Panthers the other day. You know what I'm saying? I normally catch up on it, but I've been busy, man. I've been busy lately, man. I've been busy lately. Busy as a bee lately, man. He said, okay, fair enough. But yeah, man, I just like giving y'all, I wanted to give y'all, an opportunity to give y'all peace on it, man. I'm glad I'm glad Aaron Jones finally came through, man. I've been wanting to get your take on some shit. Missionary all day, Shakur, turkey. Hate on Tank, hate on Tank. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? That's it, man. Ain't nothing new. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's it. You don't get nothing, man. You're just it. Just take that. All right, man. Y'all wanted to give everybody a fair shot at, man. If they wanted to say something, to do something, I wanted to give everybody a chance, man. I just wanted to speak my piece and put a stake in the ground for Richardson Hitchins, man. I'm what they call godly proud of the young man. You know, he beat some odds, man. He beat a lot of statistics, man. And he's one of the more mature guys, man, in boxing, man. When you listen to him talk, he talk his stuff, but he gave good advice to Shakur. Shakur got mad, took it the wrong way. Now he got Clout Sean talk about, man, this fuck Hitchins. I'm like, well, why? I mean, okay, all right. So I'm no longer. I'm telling you, man, I'm no longer. I don't really get down with Clout Sean. You know what I'm saying? When it come down to Twitterson, wake me up when he become the Shakur that I knew, man. When he go back to being a definition. I call Shakur the definition, man. Right now, I don't know this Twitterson guy. I'm glad that he did give Richardson Hitchins his props. But I don't like this Twitterson guy. I like the definition. I like Shakur when Shakur was letting them hands go, and he wasn't so gangster on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of scared of that. I'm kind of scared of Twitterson, man. He makes me scared, man. You make me very, very scared. I'm scared. All right, Aaron Jones, I will catch you next time. Early, big bro. Salute, man. Aaron Jones, one of my day ones, man. He one of my day ones, man. He seen me through all the time, man. He tell me, like, man, he can vouch for me. I haven't changed, man. I've been keeping it all the way funky this whole time, man. I haven't changed. I ain't sold out. I ain't did nothing strange for a little piece of change. I ain't link up. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? I ain't do nothing. But he one of the day ones, man. He was telling me early, when I first got started, man. It was another guy, man, out here. He was from out here in Baltimore, too. His name was Wood Stay Real. If you ever get a chance, go look at some of Wood Stay Real TV. He was just like that, man. He no longer with us, but he had a channel just like that, man. And I didn't know until I was watching him for a while, but I didn't realize that he had passed until it was like 6 months after he had passed. I realized he had passed, but he was doing the same thing, keeping it all the way funky with this boxing talk, man. And I'm like, damn, he was from Baltimore too. He was from out this area too. I'm like, yeah, and I'm not going to change. Shakur wants to be looked at as a gangster, LOL, but can't bust a grape. Yeah, him and Ray. Yeah, I don't know, man. I used to be, once I seen that stuff with Ray, when he went off on that fan, I was like, man, shit. I don't know, man. What do you say? He said, right. R.I.P. would stay real. He the one who exposed Deontay Wilder when it wasn't popular. LOL before the loss. Yep. He was on it, man. He was going at it, man. And he wouldn't compromise, man. He wouldn't compromise. But the thing is, remember when I was telling y'all the other day, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say before I get up out of here. Remember I was telling y'all the other day, I was like, man, when you watch certain fighters in their fights, what the current fighters of today don't really realize is that if you put on a good show and you are a master at your craft and you put on a demonstration in the ring, but you also perform, your fights have playback value, right? People might not recognize it in that time, but when people get a hold of you, they gonna be like, oh man, I want to see what he did to this one. When they go back and watch your whole fight, like from before, it has playback value. That's why I said I don't ever want you to go back and look at some shit I did online and it don't have no playback value. Oh yeah, it's gonna have some nutritional value. This is fruits and veggies, not that Reggie. That fact-based content, not opinion-based. But that guy would stay real. If you go back and look at his stuff now, it still has playback value. That's the kind of content that I want to have. That's the kind of content that resonates with me. So when you listen to it a year from now, if you go back 2 years from now and you listen to an episode, it has playback value. These fighters need to, yes, they need to, protect themselves and they need to do what they need to do to win. Sometimes that might mean being a little bit conservative, but when you are on top of your game and you care about your fans and you put on a performance, your fights will have playback value. Playback value. You know what I'm saying? If you listen to a bunch of shit that if you can't listen to it from 2 weeks from now and you be like, dang, man, he was on it, or man, I had a good time, or man, and it's just a bunch of bullshit that you heard them contradict after that, like 2 weeks after that, it don't have no playback value. I wasn't. I got the videos to prove it in real time, and they got playback value. Anyways, y'all, support the channel, man. Support the channel. You know what I'm saying? In any way you can, support the channel. Like, comment, super chat, Cash App. I wouldn't steer you wrong. But as always, man, it's always a pleasure, man. You know what I'm saying? Be a boxing fan, man. Be a boxing fan. And make sure you put your energy and your efforts and your words. Words create worlds, right? Make sure that the words you are speaking is creating the world that you want to live in. A lot of people get online, they spew a whole lot of bullshit online about this boxing. They spin you around, mix you up, misdirect you, lie to you, gaslight you, and you be all dazed and confused. And when the truth come out, you just accept it, and they just flip flop right back over, and you ride with it. Make sure that the words, because words create worlds. Make sure that the words you are speaking is creating the world you want to live in. More specifically in this boxing talk. But thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. Well, we don't take things for face value. We do that body.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga? Right? Oh, okay. You want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork.